Hello there, my name's Dale Myers. I'm from Rochelle, Illinois. I've been flying since about 1970. I've owned multiple airplanes. Back in 2003, I decided to build my own airplane. This is an RV-9A, and I completed this airplane in 2008. The panel work was largely done and helped by Rochelle Avionics. Jeremy Sells, I contracted him to help me to wire this thing properly so there would be zero maintenance. This is our panel lights that we got that Jeremy set up so we could dim it and change them all. Each item has its own adjustment that you can work on it. Over here to the right, this is his idea for your instrument panel to put it all together. This is your PS 1002 intercom system. Like I said, this is a GPS from Garmin 296 and the Icon radio.
I've been flying about 25 years, and Jeremy helped me restore the avionics. He completely refabricated the instrument panel. I have a 430, a Garmin 430 with weather, which includes the KX155 with the glide slope. He put in a fuel flow. He's put in a voltage amp gauge. Let's see, what else? He gave me a completely new breaker panel. I have a new audio panel with a 4-place intercom, and he also put in a backup horizon. And that's just some of the things that Jeremy's done for me. I also have an adapter for handheld NavCom, and I can use that if the avionics in the airplane go wrong or whatever. Jeremy, he does a great job. He always comes out on time, and it works. That's what really counts, that things work. And he's always within budget. He doesn't have any surprises for you. If anything is different or going to be different, he always lets you know. And one thing about Jeremy, he seems to be a perfectionist, and he can work on my airplane anytime. He works on my airplane all the time anyway. But this has been, like I mentioned, completely restored. And thanks to Jeremy at Rochelle Avionics, this is what I'm very happy with. And I can always call him if there's a problem. He seems to be able to solve it, whatever it is. And it can be really interesting sometimes, but he comes up with the solution, and it works.
Hello, my name is Ronnie Rippon. I live in Rockford, and I've done business with Jeremy since he's been an avionics installer in Rockford. And he worked first on my Bonanza. This is my 150. I've had it for 3 years. Most of the paint work in the outside was done, but took it to Jeremy to do the panel work and the avionics, where we completely stripped the whole panel, and he redid the whole panel with switches and circuit breakers, and all the avionics he rewired with new antennas and new coax. We did the nav portion of it with the Garmin, and transponder, encoder.
Hello, my name is John Garnello. I'm a retired captain from American. Worked for American for about 36 years. Jeremy Sells did the installation on my airplane of Garmin products, a 480, a 200, and some numerous other things. Everything that was installed was done on budget, on time, and it works great. I love it, and I've been flying it now, and I have no problems with it. Hello, here's the inside of the panel, and here's the products. We've got an Aspen and the audio panel, of course, the 480 and the GMX 200. And one of the things that I wanted to have done is I wanted to have the panel done beautifully So everything is done here, as you can see, and it works great and performs as they're supposed to.
My name is Chad Dubbs, and I'm based out of Poplar Grove here near Belvedere, Illinois. And currently I'm flying a 2003 Piper Saratoga HP. And prior to that, I was flying a 1999 Cessna Skylane. And Jeremy has done all the work on both planes. On my Skylane, it already had a Garmin 430, and I had Jeremy do several, just some problems I was having with my autopilot, some updating issues on my 430, as well as I wanted to add some weather back in the day when our Garmin 496 first came out. And I had Jeremy help me with that and did an excellent install. I found a mount piece on the internet where you can mount it right to the panel in place of one of the instruments, totally out of the way. And Jeremy was amazed when he saw that, and he just always handled everything on the install side, and just to make it easy for me as a customer to get the install done, or any service issues, or take time to go flying with me to see what the problem may be. And that's what we did on the Skylane. On the Saratoga here, I bought this about 4 years ago, and on our way back, on our flight from Arizona, which is where I bought it, the autopilot was giving me all kinds of troubles. We were porpoising up and down very slightly, but it was just enough to just drive a pilot crazy. And so as soon as I got on the ground from picking it up, I gave Jeremy a call and went over to see him right away, and he did everything he could dealing with S-Tech. On this particular plane, I have the Garmin 530, the Garmin 430, and I brought from the Skylane the Garmin 496 that Jeremy reinstalled into this plane. Jeremy went hard to work on the porpoising problem of up and down altitude on this plane. So we took Jeremy took the 496 out of the Skylane that I had panel mounted, and found an excellent place on this particular panel for the 496 to go. After flying with that, of course, a couple months, Garmin came out with the wonderful 696, and Jeremy came over. In fact, he came right here to my hangar to help me get this thing installed, and he took out the 496 and found an excellent place for the 696 to go right in there. And it works great. There's been issues, you know, throughout the time with miscellaneous things on the panel, and Jeremy either can answer quick questions for me, or just a quick flight down to Rochelle Avionics, and we have an answer right away. I've been flying since 1998. I learned out of Milwaukee in the Chicago area, and I had, when I first bought that Skylane, I had several avionics shops that I dealt with in the big city, either at Milwaukee, Chicago Executive, or DuPage. And with the big city came the big city price as well, just the hourly rate and all the upcharges that you're faced with at a big city airport. And when I found out that Rochelle Avionics was going to be hitting the streets down here in Rochelle, it was an excellent opportunity to find a person that I know that has been working on these planes for several years, and at a reasonable price too. It's just an unbelievable difference between the big city airports, DuPage, which is one of the big areas that I had the repairs done in the past days. When you look at a service ticket from something like that I had done back in my Cessna days compared to what Jeremy and his crew charges down there, it's just night and day. At the same time, getting over and above the service level that I received at the big city.
Hi, I'm Alan Goldstein. I'm the owner of Aerial Images Photography in the Chicago area. We own a Cessna Skyhawk that we've had for about 20 years now. Unfortunately, what's happened to our airplane, as to a lot of other airplanes, is they get a little outdated. And at one point I decided I wanted to upgrade my radio system. Came across some guy named Jeremy. He had a company called Rochelle Avionics out in Rochelle, Illinois. Actually, I heard about him through a friend of mine who had some work done, and I was impressed enough to give Jeremy a call and set up a meeting to see what he might be able to do for me with the airplane. I originally wanted just to get a new audio panel in the airplane. I decided on the PS Engineering 8000, upgrade. And I talked with Jeremy also, just kind of off the cuff a bit about getting a Garmin 430 installed. Somewhere along the line in the installation of the PS8000, he sent me some photos of what my airplane looked like. Everything was all torn apart, the entire panel, the interior, everything. And I thought maybe this would be a good time, since it was all torn apart, to have the Garmin 430 installed. So I talked to Jeremy, he said, yeah, we can do it. Many dollars later, the work was done. You know, it's small things that differentiate a company from others. I like Jeremy's attitude, but you know, they even washed my airplane when it was done. So I got this brand new looking airplane with brand new radios in it. I was very pleased. Everything worked in the airplane. You know, everything was better in the airplane. One of my main concerns was that I had some alternator noise in the airplane. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to get a new audio panel, because it did come with an internal intercom. So what actually in the end happened was he replaced all the wiring, all the electrical wiring, the coax, all sorts of parts and stuff that had just gotten old, outdated, corroded, destroyed, damaged, or whatever. He did a bang-up job. I mean, he really modernized my panel, but he got it looking and working really nice. And that was one of the reasons why I personally would and have mentioned Rochelle Avionics to other people that I know.